Seduction places me in line. Reap into a submissive side. A crack of her whip is fine. Latex rubber and light eyes. Cat o' nine tails, it breaks me down. Her discipline is so profound. Not the cuts keep me around. Tied up or tied down as long as I am bound. Just as long as I am bound. Place me in your sense of care. I do all for you anywhere. You are the master, I'm the slave. Willing to be your dear frame. Servant to your every whim. Let this fetish love begin. Take control of this be done. You rule this moment, what may come. I like this thing I am whenever you are near. There is no resistance here. She dominates. I need some pleasure with my pain. She dominates. Abuse me with leather whips and chains. She dominates. Reduce me to a pretty cry. Break the skin and tantalize. I need some pleasure with my pain. She dominates. Whenever you are near, there is no resistance here. She dominates. I need some pleasure with my pain. She dominates. Abuse me with leather whips and chains. She dominates. Reduce me to a pretty cry. Break the skin and tantalize. I need some pleasure with my pain. She dominates.
You're listening to the Whip Appeal Show, hosted by MistressCandy69 from the BDSM Alive Radio Network. Hello, hello, hello in Radio Land. You are listening live to the Whip Appeal Show with MistressCandy69. Today is Friday, August 13th, 2022. So think about it. Summer is dwindling down. Mistress's topics for tonight's show is going to range from, of course, Exotica. I'm very, very excited to bring my network back to Exotica to give the wonderful gracing halls of Exotica in Edison, New Jersey again this year with 3 days of my presence and 3 days of my superb media for the show. So I love to walk around the convention center and interview as many people as I can. I also like to interview vanilla folk about their experience at Exotica, as well as I like to walk around and whip crack my whip and do all sorts of kinky fun things in the exhibition hall for the entire weekend. So Mistress is actually going to be doing meet and greets while she is there with my sister, Mistress Black Velvet, and some of our other kinky BDSM friends. I'm not going to say who is going to be there because it's going to be a surprise. So, and it's not the person you think it is if you're listening to the show. I just had to put that in there. The phone lines are open for tonight. If anybody is listening to the show for the first time or has been a fan of mine for years and is slowly catching back up with Mistress, the phone number for the show is 516-406-3512. Phone lines are on. Exotica, again, is coming, like I said, back to Edison, New Jersey, October 21st to the 23rd. Ladies are free on Fridays. Even if you identify as a female, you can get in for free to the event on Friday, where they're not going to be checking, making you pull down your pants to see if you're a real man or a woman, if you catch my drift. So, I was being a little funny about that, by the way. Don't take it personally. So, it's a great thing to go to. There's a lot of stars, famous porn stars like Evan Stone, Rita Daniels, Seika will be there, Katie Morgan, let's see who else. There's a lot of people going to be at this one. They just had one actually in Miami from, I think it was July 15th or 14th to the 17th or something like that. So, but now the Edison one is coming up, and then the one after that, I believe, is in Washington. So they are going to have, let's see, who is in here? Violet Myers, Alex Cole. I actually know her. Lisa Ann, Joanna Angel, Jessie Lee. Who else I got here? Jenna Fox. They have Kenzie Taylor. Katie Morgan, Evan Stone, of course. Like I had said, my friend Kimmy Kaboom is going to be there. Tiny Texie, a whole bunch of famous people. So you're going to have to go there to find out. And if you really want to know, you can go to the Exotica website, which is EXXXOTICAEXPO.com, and go to stars. They also have another tab for the event schedule, the sponsors, the after parties, hotel and travel tickets, and Ladies Free Friday. So myself and the BDSM Alive Radio Network will be, in fact, at Edison, and we will be promoting the network and networking. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're also going to stop by the ASN Swing Lifestyle booth. I know Mike and Sherry pretty well. So welcome back to Edison, guys. I'm very excited to come see you at your booth this year. And, of course, Sir Lorenzo and Casey Carter will be there, as well as, I believe, the Mad Harlot, if I'm not mistaken, and a few others. So it's going to be a very exciting, fun-filled, dirty, sexy weekend, and I'm looking forward to, of course, covering media from now up until the event, and at the event, and then after the event, like I always do. So I'm looking forward to that. And actually, I have some pretty interesting network changes going to be happening. As you know, Mistress Candy, me, I own BDSM Alive Radio Network. So basically what I've been doing is I've been scouring around to try to get other doms, mistresses, mostly females in particular, because I own the network. It's female-led and female-owned, okay? A very empowering move for a woman like myself. And what a way to get other dames to share their thoughts on their BDSM practices. Now, no two dominatrixes, look, we all basically do the same thing, but we all have different rules and different guidelines, but basically they all stem to old school BDSM practices, right? Not this TNG new stuff. But each dame, like myself and Mistress Black Velvet, we always have some interesting stories because, her and I have been in the lifestyle quite a bit of years. I've been in the lifestyle for 32 years. She's been in the lifestyle for about 15 years. But it's kind of funny. She's, a little older than me, by like 20-something years. I'm not going to say. But age of course, is just a number. But when you have two like-minded people in the room and you can all agree on one thing, that's like the beauty of it. So, of course, I love Mistress Black Velvet, and I love what she talks about on her shows because, she's very spiritual. She likes to dabble in this and dabble in that, and that's cool. Everyone to each his own. I'm actually going to be working on trying to get another mistress friend of mine who's actually a switch, believe it or not. She had contacted Mistress today, heard last couple of bunches of my shows and said, wow, they're fucking fantastic. She said that she really enjoys how I talk and my voice kind of is very soothing to some people and the shows are very educational. Actually, last night I logged on to FetLife for the first time in a while since I had been started the new show, The Whip Appeal, on the network. And several women who I've known in the community for a very long time all PM'd me on Facebook and said, wow, I've been listening to your new show and it is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. They tell me that they have new submissives who are listening to the show to kind of learn proper protocol and ways to approach a dominant and, basically giving advice for new subs that are entering the lifestyle that kind of want to, be in the good graces of a mistress, but just don't know how, So it's nice to hear this feedback about my new show. I mean, look, I'm still me, regardless if I have a co-host or not. I'm still me. So with that being said, I like to hear feedback about my show and what people think about it. So if anybody out there listening to my show that actually would like to leave me some feedback on some of the apps that I'm on, please do so. I really like to hear the input. I mean, people on Instagram have been telling me they can really enjoy some of the topics I did last week, like the feederism foodie fetish, right? And then the week before, I did a couple of shows about paraphilias, about different types of sexual fetishism, or the difference between sexual fetishism and deviant stuff, or just sexual fetishism and regular fetishes, like what defines what as each, if you remember. Then actually, it's kind of interesting. I have to say, I released a show yesterday, I think it was, that I had done back in March 15th, 2022, that I actually had done but never aired, okay? And at the time, I guess it's safe to say I still feel exactly how I felt I did that show March 15th. Like, if you listen to the show from like yesterday, that was originally aired 5 months ago, but I didn't air it for a specific reason because I felt that it was like too fresh for me to really post it. But it's kind of interesting. I've been getting some emails about, submissives and mistresses who are in relationships, and kind of similarities between myself and a relationship I had just recently had with someone, and, my old co-host. And it's kind of interesting. I wasn't the only one that was in some sort of narcissistic relationship where a sub was topping from the bottom and the sub wanted control. And it's kind of an interesting story, because even though, like, tonight, like, for instance, I'm in the living room doing my radio show, and, he had just left for work, and he kind of made a comment to me like, oh, what are you going to be doing tonight? Going to have a big party? Like, he thinks that I have people come here and that I have gangbangs and orgies at the house. Like, really, I couldn't be fucking bothered with that shit, honestly. And quite honestly, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do the show tonight, because I kind of have a double ear infection, and I kind of feel a little lousy. But I said, you know what? I want to do the show. My listeners enjoy my show. I want to answer a couple of emails from some, friends online, or people online that have been, messaging the network specific questions about specific types of fetishes or different types of relationships. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that in some of the topics in tonight's show. And, that's what I like to do. I like to do the Dear Mistress column. But back to the network. In a couple of weeks, I think I'm going to have a new radio hostess on. I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to say who it is. It's somebody that Mistress has known for a very long time. And she was very interested in doing a podcast, especially from a female-led and female-owned, empowered, network like myself. And hold on, I'm taking a sip of coffee. And I brought this idea by her, and she said she is very much interested, so I'm hoping to keep my fingers crossed. I have another mistress on the network, but it's a mistress with a twist. She's also a submissive, so she's a switch, okay? So she's going to be bringing a totally new bunch of different views to the network. And this is kind of what I have decided I had wanted to do. I had wanted to turn the BDSM Alive radio show into BDSM Alive Radio Network, and have myself doing a solo show, which I'm doing tonight, the Whip Appeal. And Mistress Black Velvet does a show on, every other Sunday called Mistress Black Velvet's Meeting Place. Mistress Black Velvet has been my femdom sister for the past 15 years, and I absolutely adore her. She is awesome. I love her to death. And actually, I think I've known her a little longer than 15 years, but I'll just leave it at that. And so basically, it's great, because this is what Mistress had wanted to do, was expand. So when we go to Exotica again, we are going to be walking around and getting all sorts of, I really want other people to join the network. And, as much as I would like to keep it a female-led, I would have no problems with male doms coming to join the network also. And I'll tell you why. I want to make it so there's something for everybody. Different views, different types of shows, just good, clean, kinky, dirty fun all at the same time. I don't know, that probably didn't make sense, but I guess it's going to work a little bit, you know? So I think I want to see if I have this ad that I had made, a new ad, but I'm not sure if this is what it was. I just want to say I want to thank my sponsor, Spunk Lube, for continuing to sponsor the show and the network. And my goal at Exotica is to try to get a couple of more sponsors. So this is kind of like, what I'm trying to do too. So they say everybody's got to start somewhere, right? So Mistress has been working on this. People think Mistress is new to radio. I am not new to radio. I have been on the radio airwaves since 2009, okay? I first started out, I was the resident dominatrix on a heavy metal radio station based out of Florida called Hellraiser's Ball, and it was sponsored by Sam Ash Music, okay? I was on that show for at least 2 years, and it was kind of cool. I got to punish musicians live on air in the studio. They would call me by telephone, and they were all in the studio because I couldn't make like certain trips there or whatever. But it was a lot of fun. It was great. I loved it. And then after that, I went to Triple X Porn Star Radio, and I was with them for a couple of years, and then they kind of did some merging and this and that, and kind of fell apart. Merged with another company, and then that kind of fell apart. And then me and my ex-co-host had gone to another network. We used to be with ASN Mike and Sherry, and then they kind of merged and did other stuff. And that's when I decided to kind of do my own thing. So I guess it's safe to say since 2018, Mistress has been on her own doing my own show from this wonderful Spreaker app here. And, of course, I have a following because I've been doing radio shows for a long time. And I want to thank everybody, all my fans and followers who have been staying with me throughout the years and supporting me. Because I have to say, it makes me really, really happy to go into my emails and Twitter and Facebook and this and that and find comments from people that really enjoy the show. I get comments from submissives saying they learn a lot. I get comments and great reviews from other dames saying they really enjoy my show. They think I'm very smart and they learn a lot from me, which I have to say thank you. You're welcome. Thank you and you're welcome. And, I try to keep it like funny. I don't want to make it like too corny, too whatever, but I'm just giving you me in a nutshell. So basically, I will say this, I made a new Facebook fan page because what happened was in February, I had lost my other Facebook page got hacked and I wasn't able to retrieve it. So after battling with Facebook since February, I finally decided last night, to make a new MistressCandy69 fan page on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook and you go to facebook.com/The Real MistressCandy69, you'll find me. Or just type in MistressCandy69. So I'm really happy to say now I have 3 fan pages again. I have BDSM Alive Radio Network on Facebook. I have the Whip Appeal Show on Facebook. And I have MistressCandy69 on Facebook. Then on Instagram, I have the Whip Appeal Show with BDSM Alive Radio Network. I have at the Real Mistress C69 and at the Real Mistress Candy 69. And then, so much social media. Then I have the website, BDSMAliveRadio.com. And then I have my website, which is MistressCandy69.net. Then I have a lot of stuff. I have an OnlyFans page. So I'm a pretty busy dame, I have to say. But my latest works are growing the network, focusing on my personal life, like trying to get a job and better myself to kind of move forward in my life, and getting my network on as many apps as I possibly can. So actually, I want to say that we are now listed on Newsly app. So it's an app that you can get from Google Play Store or Apple Store, and it's called www.newsly, right? Newsly.com, I think it is. And if you go in there, so Newsly is an all-in-one super app for iOS and Android, right? It picks up the most trending articles on web topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. So instead of looking and scrolling, you're actually hearing a voice of what's really on the screen. And for the first time, the entire web becomes listenable all in one place. So I actually think it's a really interesting kind of cool app. You can go on there for music, tech, sports, science, Bitcoin. The Kardashians are on there. You'll find articles and it actually reads them out loud to you. So my network, BDSM Alive Radio Network, is going to be featured on Newsly for the next couple of weeks. So please go to Newsly, download the app. You could use it for free, and you can get a promo code for me, which is called Candy6, Candy 6, that you put in the description to receive a 1-month free premium subscription, okay? So you're going to go, all of my fellow listeners out there, I'm now on another app. So it's called Newsly. It's pretty cool. I actually checked it out. I put it in my phone, of course, myself, because I was curious to see. And it really is fucking awesome. I'm listening to it with headphones on, scrolling, and it's talking to me. So I don't even have to really read the screen, which is really great. So again, it's an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you enjoy. And then it reads them to you in a natural human voice. And for the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable. That's what I really, really enjoy about it. So you can follow any specific topic from sports, tech, business, like I said, Bitcoin, Kardashians, even like local news is on there. And they have podcasts. And what do you know? My network, the BDSM Alive Radio Network, is going to be on this podcast application. So go and download Newsly.com or Newsly me, and then basically you're going to put in the description, use the promo code C as in cat, A as in apple, N as in Nancy, D as in dog, Y as in yellow, and 6. So it's Candy6, and you will get a 1-month free premium subscription, okay? So please, download the app and go on it. It's really cool, actually. I have to say, I have it in my phone, and I really enjoy it. I actually had a couple of people sign up today with my promo code. So please, support the network, support the apps. I got to say, doing the podcast is probably the best thing I have ever done. Keeps me very busy. I enjoy talking. I enjoy giving all of you fans out there something really cool to listen to. And why not? Why not? So let's see. I'm going to be opening my email in a few minutes, and I'm curious to see what kind of topics I'm going to be talking about tonight for the Dear Mistress question and answer, right? So the question and answer thing. Let's see. Oh, hold on 1 second. Oops. Oh my goodness, what happened here? Hello? Hello? Are you there? Hello? I don't know. I had a caller call in, but I don't think I could hear him. Hello? Are you there? Hello? I don't know. I guess I'm having a problem with my phone here for some reason. The radio show phone is not working so well. Let's see if I can get it to go. So, yeah, Mistress is using her cell phone to do the radio show, so I can't answer personal calls, and I can't use the Google phone on the same phone that I'm doing the show from. So let's see if I can maybe call him back. Let's see if he can answer. Maybe. Oh, let's see. Here he is. Hello? Yes, I can hear you now, Sir Lorenzo. You there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was having, plus I'm having problems with my ears. I have, like, I'm getting over the end of a double ear infection, but I'm still kind of cloudy. Like, my right ear is kind of a little packed still, and my other ear is better. So I guess it's safe to say I can only hear out of one ear.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So I may be talking extra loud on purpose. I mean, look, I had to watch television earlier today. You're gonna laugh. I had to put on fucking closed captioning because I had the TV so loud that the fella upstairs came down and goes, "Wow, why is the TV so loud down here?" I said, "I can't fucking hear." So I had to turn the TV up so loud to wake up somebody from a sleeping beauty nap.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah, so, here, like you said, you're coming to Exotica.
Of course.
What exactly do you have planned? What can the people look forward to when you walk
Well, because I'm going to be walking around with Mistress Black Velvet, and we are going to be trying to expand the network. Actually, my ex-submissive Bella, I think if you remember her, the girl, she is a switch. I think I had mentioned that to you. And she's always been a switch, but she submitted to me when she was having some things going on in her personal life. So anyway, she has decided to, on Monday, her and I are going to have a big meeting, and I'm going to be getting her to be joining the network to give a different type of show to the network on the aspect of a switch.
All right.
So it's kind of interesting. And I had always wanted to grow the network, and I'm trying to get a bunch of women. So I'd like to keep it, and of course I'm not objectified to have a man on there, but I would like to try to have women on it, like female-led and female-owned, that sort of network. So it kind of has more, I don't know, more, what's the word I'm looking for? More oomph?
That's always a good thing, led by women, doing it.
Of course, because it sets the precedence for, for femdom, for, female-led type relationships, or owned by a female, or, things of that nature, right?
All right.
Yes.
So she's coming to Exotica also.
Yes, actually, me and my vanilla friend, which I'm not going to say, are planning to go for the weekend. He's actually going to be, he and she, there's two of them, are going to be part of my crew. And I had gotten them some, passes. They're going to be helping me do some filming and some other stuff. They're helping basically one of them's going to be my slave for the other weekend, and the other one's going to be like my chauffeur and do other stuff. So helping with the show and helping carry equipment and stuff of that nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
So, and I'm also, and I'm going to be bringing, just my vanilla friend, and Mistress Black Velvet and her slave are meeting me there, as well as this girl who I was just talking about. She thinks she has she may have something else to do, but she said she was going to try to get out of it to meet me at Exotica. So, and then recently I've been on FetLife here and there, and some of these young slaves have been offering their services to me for Exotica weekend. So I'm actually looking forward to having a very nice, peaceful weekend and not have to, not have to cater to somebody else who's a fucking bitch.
So you're coming in Friday then, right?
I'm coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to people won't be hard to find you inside of there. That's definitely.
Oh, no. I mean, look, you know how I get people to come? I was telling them earlier on the show that, Mike and Sherry, when they had their booth at Exotica that time, right? I actually would go over to their booth and crack my whip, and literally the people would just come flocking over to the building, So, I mean, so I'm not hard to find. basically you can find me parading around the exhibit center. Plus, I do know some people that will have booths there, so they can definitely find me. Plus, you know what? I'm going to have the radio show phone with me. They can text me while they're there. Let me know where they're at.
Okay, yeah, that'll be good. We'll definitely cross paths somewhere in there. And of course, all those days, you'll have a whole squad walking around, so that's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's gonna be good. I'm actually looking forward to it because my home life is a little ups and downs. So honestly, this is kind of what I've been looking for. And to me, I had tell my one friend, I said, I don't care if I have to live in a tent, I'm still going to Exotica. So they were laughing. So, but I'm looking forward. And honestly, I haven't said anything to, who about Exotica at all. And
okay.
I don't care if he finds out that I'm going, because guess what? I'm not going with him, so what the fuck do I care?
Does he have any plans on going? Would he go on his own, or what do you think?
I don't know. Actually, on my birthday, he had a friend over, and his friend was like, oh, Exotica's coming up, and I didn't hear what they said, because of course I can't hear, because my ear is messed up, and, but I don't know if he would even attempt to go to that. Why? I highly doubt he would, but who knows? Who knows? He might try to pass himself off as a lady on Friday to get in for free. Because, I did read on the Exotica website that if you identify as a female, you can get into free on Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
So Exotica has Ladies Free Friday. You could be a natural female and a transgender female and still get in for free on Friday.
Yeah, I guess as long as you register, you're good.
That's right.
Is there a box that you say that you associate? Because they'll look at names and all, but I mean, because if you check female, is there even a box to check female? I don't know.
I don't even know. I have no clue. That is interesting. Male, female, or other is usually what it says.
Okay.
The other box. Oh,
yeah.
goodness.
But I know you're gonna have a good time because that's your coming out thing. I see the network is picking up and all like that, so that's good.
Yeah, so the network, this was my dream, to have a network of women and men too, I don't have a problem with men being on there. I actually would like to get a couple of male doms on there. I think, my idea is to keep it BDSM and kink, with that whole, because look, there's not many of us older generations left, I'm trying to preserve, I guess to some degree, the older generation,
Yeah, I understand.
Trying to make a classic library of, traditional BDSM practices rather than this TNG new wave garbage that they have out nowadays.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, even if you do have someone that comes on even to talk about the new styles, which, this is a new thing now.
I'm cool with that, too, but I just would like to have, look, I'm not against not having, having someone younger on who's in the new generation. I'm not against it. I'm curious to see their views and opinions on specific practices, though. It would make for an interesting, have in with the old and in with the new and out with the old, as they would say.
Yeah, it would be interesting just to hear the logic behind some of the things, because we just can't grasp, in our minds what's going on, but to hear it and hear it explained, and they may pick up a few things that they had no knowledge of. You just never know.
Exactly. So it's the whole idea of networking and trying to, keep within the realms of BDSM to some degree. I mean, it's cool, some of the newer stuff, but some of these newer doms are doing shit that I wouldn't even dream to imagine doing. They're just out of my realm of practices, So, it just depends, I guess.
Yeah, well, I know one thing for sure with the new thing. It's all with sex and money now. So now you get paid and you have sex. And that's.
Well, again, that stems back to prostitution. Remember we were talking about that, like, in like other aspects, right? Like, there's a lot of these like sex shops out in, Suffolk County here where we live. And they all have these women like advertised, like, oh, Mistress, whatever the hell her name is. So I went in there once to see like what the hell was up. And basically she has like a full service menu, like, blowjob, hand job, whipping, spanking, face slapping, and whatever else. And then, you get like a happy ending. Or she gives full service and has sex with them. And then, to me, that's again like what you call a prosty dom. That's like I call like a hooker with a whip. Because in my BDSM practices, I do not have sex with anybody. Unless I'm in a relationship or they're a sex slave. But other than that, I don't, take money for pro dom sessions and, give a guy a session and like jerk him off. That's not if he wants to jerk himself off, be my fucking guest, but I'm not touching your dick and I'm sure as fucking hell not jerking you off either,
Yeah, and once they do that, they're paying for a service. They're really the dom, they're regulating what's going on, what they can get, how much they're going to pay, all that. They're in charge of everything at that point.
Well, yeah, that's like the dom is pimping herself out to the fella.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the guy becomes her pimp and basically tells her, okay, I'm doing this, this, and this for this set price and take it or leave it, right? like, yeah.
No, but that's good that the network's picking up, That's good luck with all of that. And I know you're going to have a ball in October. Definitely.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm going to feel like, you want to know how I've been looking at it the past couple of days? It's like, I hate to use this expression, but this is exactly how I feel. I feel like I've been a caged animal for a very long time who is finally let out and be able to see the light. I feel that I have no holds barred this Exotica. So I am going to be roaming Edison with no slave or sub attached to me, and I'm going to enjoy myself every fucking minute of it. Although I will have subs meeting me there, but they will not be staying in my hotel room, so that's even better. Unless I ask them to. What's that?
That's going to be something, if a lot of them do show up like that. They better jump at this chance because, you haven't been there in a while, so they better take advantage of this and watch out, world.
I told them, I said I was looking for a personal foot slave for the weekend because, Mistress's feet is going to be exhausted from walking in heels all weekend. So I'm definitely going to need a personal foot boy for the weekend. I'm also going to need possibly a sex slave for the weekend also, maybe, depending on how Mistress decides to drink on Friday night. And then, of course, I'm going to need a submissive to carry Mistress's, like, whips and a bag to the convention center. And then I'm going to need a submissive to kind of, like, pamper Mistress all day long. So I'm looking for a multitude. If I can get one sub to do it all, great. If I can't, I can have a multitude. And guess what? Nobody's going to tell me I can't have it this time. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want, and why? Because I said so. That's why.
Said you were bringing those flat boots also.
Yes, I'm also bringing flat boots. Yes, that's what I was planning to do. Friday night, I was going to wear one outfit to Exotica and then one for the after party, right? Then on Saturday, I was planning to bring an outfit for during the day and then an outfit for the night and then one for the after party. So that's 3 outfits for Saturday alone. And then Sunday, I think I'm just going to go to the convention in my regular clothes and probably leave by noon. That's probably what I'm going to do.
You said by noon?
Yeah, if not, maybe I'll stay later depending on when my chauffeur has to go back. Because my chauffeur, so this is kind of like what I was doing, you know. So if my chauffeur decides that my friends can stay longer, then we will. But what I'm only going to stay, I got the hotel room from Friday and Saturday, and then I have to check out by noon on Sunday. So what I could do is I could have my subs who are going to meet me there for that weekend, or my friends, put all the shit in the car and go to the convention center and just change in the bathroom and then maybe leave from there. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do it.
That's what a lot of people do. They just come there for a little bit and leave straight from the convention center.
Right. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So, but it's going to be fun. I'm very excited. I can't wait. I wish it was here already. And, yeah. So.
Yeah, it's coming. It'll be here before you know it.
I know, and I honestly, I'm getting very excited. You have no idea. I mean, think about it. I haven't done anything since last year, Exotica, and then I had surgery, and then I had all this other bullshit going on in my life. Which actually, after the show, I'm going to call you personally. I have to tell you something. I'm not going to say it on air. So, you know, or I could call you tomorrow and tell you, but it's pretty devious and makes me think in a totally different light of the situation that I've been currently in. And even more, what's that song, Tainted Love? I used to run to you, now I run from you, one of those. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. All right. Well, no. You call me after the show.
Yeah, I'll call you after the show.
Enjoy. Like I said, you're getting ready. You know, we're going to try to help you out there. Get a little bigger squad. When you come in, everybody will know it's you. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I can't wait. Actually, I think Rita's going too, right? I'm pretty sure she is.
She's planning on, when I talked to her, she's planning on going and, to Jersey.
Yeah, because at first she wasn't sure, because remember I had said she had called me about her neck stuff, because, you know, I just went through that, and I haven't heard from her. I have to ask her about how her test went or whatever, but I had told her, I said, I missed you and I want to see you so bad. So
yeah, we'll see how that goes, you know, if she's going to show up or not, so, well, we should know this month, like that.
Right.
It's supposed to be packed. There's more people going to be there, more vendors, everything.
Right, exactly. It's going to be a very big show, exactly. So
Black Velvet's going to love it, so she hasn't been there in a while, you know. So.
Yeah, she hasn't been. Last time I saw her at Exotica was probably 8 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been a while, you know?
Yeah, it's completely different.
Exactly.
She was there, definitely. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, like I said, just give me a call.
I will. I'll let you know. I'll call you afterwards, because I think I just missed another phone call here for the radio show, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm sure they'll call back. So. Well, thanks for calling in, Sir Lorenzo.
All righty.
Have a good night. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Well, that was a fantastic phone call that Sir Lorenzo had called in. And now we have another caller on the line. We're live on the Whip Appeal show.
Hey, mistress.
Hi, who is this? This voice sounds so familiar. Who is this?
Randy.
I'm like kidding. I knew it was you. I was saying earlier, if you were listening to this show, Sir Lorenzo had called in, which was unexpected. He hasn't called into my show actually in a couple of weeks, but we do talk regularly on Twitter, and he's pretty excited that I'm kind of growing the network, and he had said that at Exotica they're going to have a big welcome for me when I go there. They're going to have me hanging with a totally different crowd this year, and it is going to be awesome. I'm actually looking forward to it, believe it or not.
Oh.
So, and I think Rita's going to be there. He just told me Rita Daniels is going to be there, which I'm excited because I wasn't sure if she was or she wasn't because, you know, like me, she's having cervical neck issues also. So she actually, you know, is kind of like in the same boat, and she wanted to know how I made out with my surgery because I think, you know, she may need to have some, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm trying to help my friend out every which, hold on, I'll be right back, every which way I can, because, why not, right? That's what they say. So how are you, Randy? It's been, I don't know how many years it's been since you've called into one of my radio shows. A long time, right?
Yeah. I can't remember that. I can't remember the years either. I know it's been a few.
I think you called in when I was still with XXXPornStarRadio.com, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have not been with them since 2015 or 2016, I believe.
Uh-huh.
So it's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. It's been 6 years since you and I have actually spoken on the radio show. It's kind of interesting. Right?
Yeah.
So anybody who doesn't know who's listening to my show tonight, Randy has been a lifelong fan of mine for probably, how long have I known you now, Randy?
8 years. 8 years in November.
8 years in November, right?
Yeah.
So would you like to tell the listeners how you met me?
Tell the listeners? Wow. Okay. It was at Exotica. I think Rita introduced you to me.
Yes, Rita Daniels, my very good friend. Yep.
Yeah, she introduced you to me, and you're a beautiful. You were a beautiful person then. You're still a beautiful person now, and you had red hair.
Yes.
Lovely red hair. Lovely red hair and dimples.
And dimples.
And a pretty round face.
And what?
She had dimples and a pretty round face.
Well, I was heavier then. I was like 300 pounds then, right?
I don't know that.
I was. When I first met you, I was 300 pounds. Now I weigh a whopping 174, 175, somewhere in that vicinity. But I look totally different. I lost 3 people. Back then, I used to wear like a 3XL cat suit. Now I wear a medium. So go figure.
And I went to the dungeon.
Yes.
When it was always at the end of the convention center, at least.
Yes, I used to work the dungeon with Mistress C back then, correct?
Right. Yes.
And what did I do to you? I put you on the St. Andrew's cross and I flogged you to death, right? No, I'm kidding.
Well, you did that a couple of times.
Yes, I did. And then I put you in the cage once, the elevated bird cage.
Yeah.
Or the suspended bird cage.
Yeah. And I remember you and a couple other people from the network spanked me live on radio.
Right.
And let's see, what else? What else? Oh my goodness. I just learned more about the BDSM lifestyle from you.
Really?
And told me a few of my, I only had a few experiences.
Well, I know you had played with my old friend Vicky Vale. I remember that.
Yeah, she spanked me. She's a tall, and that woman's tall.
Well, me and Vicky Vale and, who was it? Mistress C, and who else was in the dungeon at the time? Do you remember?
Oh, shoot, who was it? Was it, shit, I forgot. Is it 2014, 2015? Was it almost a decade?
It might have been like Mistress Thick, I think. I'm not 100% sure. We had a whole bunch of doms working in there, right?
Yeah.
And then we had Papa Scott and the girls.
Yes.
We had
Vicky gave me a spanking.
She
spanked. And then after that, I didn't know what's going on. I just figured, I can handle it. Then I fainted.
Right.
Then I fainted right in front of Rita's booth.
Oh my goodness.
That was my fault. I didn't know. And I remember you told me about a couple of years later, but I didn't get the aftercare I needed.
Yes, because when you are in a BDSM scene per se, and you're being spanked or flogged by a dom, right? So I think I've explained this to you. There's a warm up period, right, where I always say, what's the thing I like to say, Randy? Mistress likes to tenderize her meat before she plays with it, right?
Right.
So right, or the mistress likes to beat her meat to tenderize it before she beats it, right? So I'm like kidding.
Right.
So basically, you have to be put on a cross or whatever, how they're restraining you, and you are either blindfolded or you're kind of sensory deprived, whether you can't see or you're gagged, right? Or you sometimes can't hear either. It's usually hear, speak, and see. Those are like the senses that people try to mask the most. So then you have that. Then you got to kind of warm up the body to kind of, I do some light sensory like play with either a Wartenberg wheel which I think I used on you, right? A Wartenberg wheel and maybe like my metal cat scratch claws that I had, or vampire gloves, which are actually a pair of leather gloves with spikes on the hands, on the whole inside of the palms. So you can spank people and touch people and kind of, hurt them in a masochistic way, or sadism and masochism type way. So, yes, you had a scene with somebody who really didn't warm you up correctly, number one, because I saw it, and they gave you no aftercare whatsoever. So they basically, had their way with you and kind of did some heavy-duty impact play and kind of left you hanging for a little bit. And I remember you seemed like a little confused, and I had told you to come sit down, remember, and I gave you some water, and I had said, oh, come sit down, and I gave you like a little quick like kind of massage, like to kind of ease you back into reality, because I think at that point you might have had what was called sub-drop, right?
Right.
Okay. So do you want to tell the listeners like what had happened that day?
Okay, that day, I think it was the second day, which is Saturday, November 8th,
Yeah.
2014.
Wow, Randy, you have a great fucking memory.
Then I saw Vicky, and she gave me a hug, and then she restrained me, so like handcuff. What was it? Handcuff? What is this? What?
She had you on the St. Andrew's cross.
Right, that's it. That's the one. And then she started hitting me with her hand, and then she flogged me, and I was enjoying it. I mean, I didn't just go out and run away, but that would be sort of like rude.
You're hilarious. Not like you could because you were restrained to the cross.
Right.
So running away for you was kind of not happening. You were kind of, what are you called? A bound submissive.
Right.
You offered your ass for the whipping, as one would say.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did that. And then that was over. She gave me a hug. And then it was right near Rita's booth, by the way.
Yes.
At the time. And then when I short walk to Rita's booth, I fell down. I don't know what the hell happened, but
you had what's called sub-drop. And basically what had happened is, I'll try to explain it a little bit. So go ahead, go tell the rest of the story, and then I'll explain what sub-drop was.
And then Rita was sort of like up there. Her and Victoria Vale picked me up. I don't know how strong she is. She's a strong woman. Sort of like an Amazon, you know? And they both picked me up, and they sat me down in a chair, and they were checking to see whether we were all right or not. They gave me some water. And that's really about it as far as that goes. That was my first real experience. But like you said, I feel like did it the wrong way.
Right. Well, let me just explain. Sub-drop, all right, it's from very intense bondage, discipline, sadism, and masochism scenes, right? So very intense BDSM scenes. If I remember correctly, Vicky was whipping you, I was whipping Paula, and Mistress C was whipping Mum Man, who was actually my other submissive at the time. Remember? The three of you were on the cross. And if you remember correctly, this is how I got Exotica started for 2015, right? I was the one who got all three submissives on the crosses, and I was the one who started whipping and getting everybody into the dungeon. And of course, for you, you got caught up in the mix of it because your dominant at the time should have asked you what your limits were and kind of did a little question and answer before the scene even arose. Because at the convention, you don't know who's got what. Like, I don't want to whip a heavy-set fella that may be suffering from heart problems. Why? Because, God forbid, he should drop dead in the middle of the scene, correct? So, some people really have to ask, and with you, you've never experienced that type of play before, especially the amount of the whipping that she had given you. Honestly, I think she kind of got carried away, if you ask me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, the scene that she did with you made you feel a variety of things. Either you were giddy, orgasmic, capable, connected, exhausted, sore, cold, inspired, and even hungry. For a submissive who receives stimulation and pain, you can expect particular feelings. For those expectations extend after the scene too, when you might experience a subdrop. So basically, subspace is the mindset that a submissive can get during a scene, meaning they're in fucking la la land. They're having fun. They're getting, off or orgasmically by the sound and the feel of the whips on their skin helps them get into this awesome mindset. Like, yes, I am finally getting what I want. But the mindset is the subspace. It could be pleasure for them. It could be they're sexually aroused. They could be like creaming or coming, like pre-coming while you're whipping them. Like there's a whole bunch of different. So when that scene stops kind of drastically without any like aftercare, like light massage, or like what I like to do is after I whip the hell out of somebody, I like to get close to them and give them like a, wrap them in a blanket and, kind of give them light, like rubbing massage. Talk to them very, quietly, like whispering, almost like consoling a crying baby without the crying baby part. You know what I mean? Okay, like think about it. So when you're in subspace, you might feel disconnected from your body. You might feel unable to feel the full impact of pain. Some subs describe it as a feeling of floating or flying, like an out-of-body experience. So did that happen to you, Randy, or were you just kind of clinging onto your life going, holy shit, when is this shit going to end? Right?
I was thinking the second part.
What, the floating, unable to feel your full impact of pain?
Right.
So, now let me ask you, at the time when you were unable to feel it, in the beginning you probably were, right?
Yeah.
But then as she just kept walloping you, and of course I think you were pretty good and you really didn't shout any safe words, if I remember correctly. I think you and her were trying to test your boundaries or your limits.
Right.
Now, sometimes after the person has the intense scene, their thoughts may lack clarity and they may even have difficulty speaking. Now, if I remember correctly, you were like that. You were kind of like on a different planet. You were speaking mumbo jumbo. And I had said to myself, wow, Randy is in some serious subdrop. So basically, a subspace is a chemical cocktail. It's a mixture of hormones when you're in a scene as your body is sympathetic nervous system responds to stressors, right? Which can include impact play, like heavy whipping, heavy thuddy flogging, caning, anything that can cause heavy duty, intense, thuddy impact play, correct? Crops, whips, spanking, any of that nature, right? So the endorphins like when you exercise, your brain produces endorphins, right? Which increase, and they can lead to feelings of euphoria and a decreased perception of pain. So it's kind of interesting. When you are in subspace or getting up to subspace, your actually body is releasing endorphins. It's also releasing epinephrine, right? Which is adrenaline.
Right.
So your body makes adrenaline when it senses stress. So some people get like shaky. Like some people see no difference between a flogger and a bear attack. So it could be, you make adrenaline. The other thing is, I can't even pronounce this word. It's called an endogenous opioid, right? But it's a natural opioid that your body makes. It's secreted in the central and peripheral nervous system to reduce pain. So when pain has been induced, these peptides are broken up. So it's called enkephalins, I think it's pronounced, right? Then you have dopamine. Hold on a second. Dopamine is the hormone associated with pleasure. Dopamine increases when you anticipate a reward, which could be sexual in nature, may also be released when you experience certain types of pain. This might actually be the key to why some people enjoy erotic pain and others do not. So, in your instance, I guess it's safe to say that you enjoyed the scene, but not as much as you really would have if you weren't kind of pushed to your limits during the initial scene itself. So I think you had an intense overload of all these chemicals in your brain that caused you to have subdrop. Like your body just couldn't really process what was going on, correct?
Right.
See, Randy, I know you very well. So the hormones are very powerful at creating positive feelings and decreasing pain that you might not even consider them your body's own morphine. But endorphins alone have been compared to opiates, and the enkephalins have similar effects on your body. So basically, you got subdrop. So subdrop, right? Here it is. You want to know what the true definition of subdrop is? It's exhaustion, fatigue that comes on all of a sudden. It's not uncommon for you to suddenly feel cold. I think you said you were chilly, right?
Yeah.
Well, while you may not or may not have been able to feel the pain from the blows during the period, your body was still experiencing it. So even though mentally the scene was over for you, physically your body was still feeling it. And the same hormones that I just talked about that get you to subspace also lead to subdrop. So I think you just had an overwhelming hormone rush that made you immune or numb to pain and sensation during subspace. And the subdrop happened if the play suddenly stops for whatever reason. Remember I said this to you? So
Right.
this is what happened. So your dominant at the time should have never have started and stopped the scene like that. She should have continued to kind of, okay, the last few blows of the scene should have been a little softer, right? Remember, you've played with me, so you know how I am, where I spank you very softly in the beginning, then I kind of warm you up. As I say, I tenderize my subject before I play with it. And then getting you into the subspace and then releasing you from the subspace with the natural way. So that does not mean just stopping the scene. That means conducting very light to null impact play, where you swap a flogger, you then take a soft flogger, and you continue the same whipping techniques, but at a lighter pace with the lighter flogger. So basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing you back down to normalcy as of keeping you in that drugged up hyphened euphoria from the feeling of being in subspace, and now bringing you back down to ground zero level. And I hate to use that as an example, but back to reality. And then what happens is, even after the scene is over, you are to continue to console the submissive as if they were a crying, swaddled baby. And I use this term because It's the only way to really explain it to people. Like, you wrap a baby, you swaddle them. Why? Because it makes them feel what, Randy? You know the answer.
Yeah.
It makes them feel safe, right?
Right.
That feeling of closeness. So think about it. A submissive who is just in, let's just say you can kind of compare. I mean, I've heard some subs say that their subspace has been brought on like almost like from labor to childbirth, but in a good way. Not so much the pain, but for them, the pain they enjoy. So, like from labor to childbirth. And then the after effects, like, like, oh, I had what I needed, that mental fix. So whether it's mental, physical, or emotional, you are in that scene for whatever reason it is, but you have to be brought to that scene and then be brought back. So it's almost like going to the dark side and returning to the dark side, right? Or going into the light and then returning back. So it's a good cycle. But yeah, you have to definitely wrap the submissive, give them water, make them feel like they're human beings, not somebody you just, beat the hell ever living daylights out of for sensual, whatever, not sensual, because not sensual at that point. It's corporal punishment play. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes. Yes.
So I think, in my humble opinion, that experience for you was actually terrible, because for somebody like you who is very gentle, kind of never really experienced that type of stuff before, shouldn't have been even brought to that level. That, to me, if I was you, I would never go back to BDSM. That would be very frightening. That would be like me, like going, oh God, how could I even trust another person to spank me? Because think about it. When you are asking a dom to play with you, you just kind of figure that that dominant would know that you're a newbie, right? and that you have limits, and you don't know what your limits are because this is something totally new for you. And she never took that into consideration, in my honest opinion.
Right.
And that, to me, is something that I wouldn't do, but there are dames who do that. I'm sure people listening to the show is like, holy shit, that's been done to me, right? I mean, look, being a dominant is not about getting a submissive in front of you and whacking the shit out of them with a whip or an implement. It is much more than that. It's more of like the submissive trusts you with their life. Sometimes people get into crazy BDSM scenes, not like the ones that you did, spanking, but there are other things like, edge play and abduction scenes and kidnappings and all sorts of shit that goes on, And you literally have to trust your dominant and know that they're going to keep you safe and not force you to endure some sort of heavy-duty whipping that you've never had before, because she didn't ask you, I'm sure, if you had a medical condition. She didn't ask you, like, me, I ask people if they're on blood thinner, all kinds of shit, because I don't want to be responsible. God forbid this fella should, have a heart attack during a pro-dom session or something,
Right.
So that, to me, at a convention, I would always ask the submissive who's willing to play, do you have da-da-da? Because I don't want to be responsible. Let's say you walked out of the dungeon and you left and you had sub drop and you passed out on the floor of the convention center. That wouldn't have been very good, I have to say.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, how did you feel about that afterwards, Randy? Did you, remember I think I had told you that was not appropriate, remember?
Right.
And I'm sure other mistresses told you that was not appropriate either.
Yeah. But I do, let me say, I do trust you. Well, because I know you.
Yes.
I do trust you. You know what you're doing.
Of course. I mean, I've been a dominatrix for 32 years. And look, it doesn't mean that I'm good. It just means I'm a seasoned veteran, okay? And you could ask slaves and submissives who have actually played with me at, BDSM parties or Exotica. You even know I've never had anyone say anything terrible about me unless they were a jealous mistress. That's the only subs really never said anything terrible about me. Why? Because I'm a very good dominant. And, sometimes my thoughts and views people may not agree about them, but that's how I run my stable. That's how I practice my BDSM. I'm not saying that, so-and-so's way is wrong, but there's just, that's how I roll. How's that? That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. And believe me, I'm not trying to say I'm cocky, but, I'm you know me for a long time, and you've seen other people play with me in the dungeon, and what was their reaction after I scened with them? They loved every minute of it. Are you there, Randy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're very quiet. I was like, wow, he sounds like he's, I don't know. I'm only kidding.
But like I said, I do trust you. I mean, I think you have spanked me a couple of times.
Yes.
I know 2015 you did, also in 2016, and then go in 2017, 2018, and 2019.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I got used to the idea.
So I've been spanking you on and off for like 5 years, is that it? Or 6 years or something like that? Oh
yeah.
My God. Wow. I could honestly say that Randy is what I like to refer to as a repeat offender. And that's a good thing. That means you have, the old saying, like the court jester and the queen, right? I'm the queen and you're the court jester. And this is how I feel about a lot of my submissives too. They want to get in Mistress's good graces. They must become my court jester, which means they will do whatever I ask them to do, and they'll do it with grace and dignity, right? So basically, I guess you could say you've been my court jester for the past 5 years off and on, because every time you see me, you offer up your ass for spanking.
Right.
But that's good.
And, yeah.
You're there for my entertainment. How's that?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's why, therefore, you're
muscles.
the jester and I'm the queen.
Yes.
See?
And you have pretty muscles.
Oh, yes. Actually, I went to the gym today. Actually, I hadn't been to the gym in like a week and a half. What happened was, 2 weeks ago, I had a terrible pain in my shoulder. Last September of 2020, I kind of slipped in the shower at our old apartment. I kind of tore a rotator cuff. So,
Ouch.
yeah, I also had an infra and supraspinatus tear, and I had a torn labrum and a torn bicep, okay? So, I was kind of like out of work for a month, maybe a month and a half, and then, what did I do? And then, we moved out here to Suffolk County, but I had a couple of cortisone shots, and I went to physical therapy, and they told me that it was like kind of minute, that I didn't need surgery, that I would be able to heal with PT, whatever. So, at that point, the doctor then told me that I had something wrong with my neck, but they really didn't see it. They only saw part of it on the x-ray. I also had AC of the bursitis of the AC joint in the shoulder also. So actually, after my surgery, probably about 2-3 weeks ago, my shoulder fucking started killing me. So I went back to pain management because I had an appointment anyway from my, surgery from my fusion that I had cervical fusion done back in April. Yeah, Mistress has 3 screws and a disc replaced in her neck. So I actually just had that done April 21st, only a few months ago. And so I'm back at the gym now after that. But I have a confession. I've been working out with dumbbells probably since a week or two after surgery, but I was only doing like 2-3 pound dumbbells at first. You know what? I just couldn't sit still. But I was doing it like on the floor with a cervical pillow under my neck, so I wasn't doing anything stressful, very light, just to keep my body like toned. Because, somebody like me who used to be very heavy and then lost all that weight and then now has surgery, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be like incapacitated. I'm gonna lose like my muscle mass and my tone, and I'm gonna have to start all over again. I'm gonna get fat. This is like what I was worrying about, right?
Right.
So, I then started like working out again, and today I went back to the gym after having a cortisone injection in my shoulder like 2-3 weeks ago. And I wanted the cortisone injection to kind of really seep in before I had decided to go back to the gym, because I gotta say, I don't know how I did it, but they just said it just happens every so often. Who knows? Maybe I need fucking shoulder surgery next. But I'll tell you what, I ain't doing anything else until probably next year. But I'm going to try to prevent myself from having to need or have to do any other surgeries, So I'm trying to avoid that like the plague. But, I'm getting older now too, so who knows?
Oh, also, fast forward to a couple of days ago, when I talked with you at first.
Well, listen, I can't. Go ahead. Well, don't talk about my other stuff on here if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay.
But you could talk about my OnlyFans page.
Yeah.
Actually, that's how you found me again. Was my OnlyFans page.
I just type in your name, and there you were.
It's funny though, because I hadn't seen you online for a long time, and actually a couple of years ago, what's his face? I'm not going to say his name. Had said to me that he saw you on Twitter, and I said, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Because I haven't seen him in years." Because I think there was you and I weren't talking at one time. I think something had occurred between you, I, and Alicia Pleasure, if I remember, that's who it was, or something like that. And I just felt that, for me, because I was on the network with them, I just didn't want to have any, bullshit. So I actually block people when I don't want them to be in my graces. So, and I just kind of left it at that. And, so then, he had said to me, "Oh, I saw him." I said, "Oh, well, that's nice." And look, I didn't, and then you had said you had a problem with your other account, and you, what do you call it? You had a problem with your other account, and you had to make a new one anyway. So that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, see me, I look, I'm trying to make a little money on the OnlyFans because, Mistress needs to move. And because of my situation here, I really am having a hard time finding a job. So I'm trying to make, money on OnlyFans and select things, but I'm not going to say what they are on the show.
Okay.
Because I don't know who listens to my shows, and, I have a fucking stalker as it is. So, very little information online is good, you know what I mean?
And the good part about it is I can listen to your shows anytime I want.
Yeah, where do you listen to my shows? Because, Randy, the network is on a lot of apps now. You know that, right?
Right. I've discovered you on Spotify.
Oh, Spotify? Okay. Because I think I'm on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Buzzsprout, wait, hold on, Spreaker, Deezer, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeart, Apple, iTunes, Amazon, GeoSavan. We're on a new one called Newsly, which is actually, you should check it out. If you go to the Newsly, you download the app on the iOS and the Android store. It's an audible news platform where you go on and it speaks to you. So you don't even have to really look at it. I mean, you look at it, but you don't have to scroll and read the whole story. It speaks to you audible. And my network, they're featuring on the front page of their main page for the next couple of weeks. So you can go and download the app, and you get a free subscription for a premium subscription for a month if you use my code Candy6. And it's got to be all capital letters. So it's pretty cool. So I'm on Newsly, which is pretty awesome because that's like mainstream news. So I made it to mainstream news. Pretty fucking awesome, Randy, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, that's... Let me tell you, I have been working so hard. After November, when Cupcake and I broke up, I decided to go back to, it took me a couple of months, and he didn't want to do the shows anymore. So I said, fine, whatever. So he got mad that I was doing shows, but you know what? That's me. I'm not going to change who the fuck I am. And you know what? I was always doing shows. I never had a co-host until him. So honestly, I prefer not to have a co-host. I prefer to have callers call in, and I prefer to do my Dear Mistress question and answer thing, because people actually do email me. Matter of fact, I went on FetLife for the first time in a couple of months, and when I first started the Whip Appeal show, I posted it on FetLife, posted it on Twitter. I made a Facebook page for the Whip Appeal show. There's also a BDSM Alive Radio Network, a Facebook page too. There's also my new MistressCandy69 fan page on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, look me up on that. You'll find me on there. There's 2 pages. One of them I no longer have access to, and it sucks because I have over 3,000 followers on it or something. It took me a long time to do that because, I'm not active on it usually. I mean, Twitter and Instagram is usually where I'm more active, and my website, and then the BDSMAliveRadio.com website also. So I'm managing a lot of stuff, and plus I'm trying to grow my network. So I'm busy doing a lot of, behind the scenes stuff. So I contemplated this for a couple of months. I started my Whip Appeal show in March. And would you know, within the first week, I had triple the amount of downloads than I've ever had in my life when I was doing the shows prior with the other person. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, the numbers speak for itself. And I really thought, because I was doing it on the BDSM Alive radio show, I thought maybe because it was those people from that show. So that's why I decided to do another show and turn the other one into a network. But actually, I still post my show and Mistress Black Velvet show on there because it's a network now. So I actually have been doing a lot of stuff. I've been changing all the cover art lately, trying to bring the network into a fresh new look. And being that it's female-led and female-owned is a big thing, because I was contacted today by an ex-submissive of mine. I don't know if you remember Submissive Bella. Randy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Do you remember Submissive Bella and Dom Nikita, who had called into the show a couple of years back? Do you remember them?
Yeah.
Well, Nikita and Bella no longer together, but Bella used to be my submissive. She was collared by me last year. I took over her because her and her husband, who was her other Dom, were having issues. So I took over her for protection and to teach her some things for a while. And so actually, she had contacted me today. I had called her like a couple of days ago. I'm trying to try to have my friends back in my life, so, and it's good. I'm starting a new life, basically, right? So getting things done in my personal life. And anyway, I wanted to talk to her because actually her submissive, or her old submissive, who's a cross-dresser, had inboxed me on FetLife and said that he had wanted to call into my radio show. But then I look at his profile and I see that he's owned by her husband. So I had wanted to speak to her about that, because even though she's a switch, she was my owned and collared submissive for a year and a half. But a year, I'm sorry. But she and I are very good friends, and I know her husband also. And I kind of felt weirded out that his owned and collared sub was asking me, or when he can call into my show without his owner's permission. So I actually had contacted them today, and I said, listen, I don't want to be the bringer of bad news, but I logged on to FetLife for the first time in a long time, and I got a message from your submissive, your owned and collared submissive, and they said, which one? So I told them who it was. I'm not going to say his name on air, or her name. And they were like, oh, because we have a problem. And I said, well, I'm just letting you know out of courtesy, because I know you guys, both of you, husband and wife, like his wife was my sub. And I know him too, and I was mentoring him for a while. So, I know the both of them pretty well. And I figured, if the roles were reversed, and let's say I had owned a sub who was contacting them to go on their radio show without talking to me about it, I'd be fucking pissed. And honestly, I know what that's like. I lived with that shit for 8 fucking years, okay? So I'm not even going to go there. So I thought it was kind of ironic. So I had contacted them today to tell them about it. And they were like, oh, thank you. And, I hadn't gone back on to FetLife to check to see. And I said, well, I had said, oh yeah, hey, that would be great, but just an FYI, you may want to get your owner's permission before you ask me a question like that again. Giving that sub a very good point of advice that, ooh, yeah, I just fucked up. You know what I mean? But I know the submissive has called into the show before with her and him and other times. So she, they said it was okay, but still, he should have asked them, correct?
Correct.
He's owned by both of them. So she is a submissive to her husband, but she's a mistress to this crossdresser. And her husband own this crossdresser together. It's collared by both of them. So I kind of felt like, wow, I haven't spoken to them in a long time. Honestly, I haven't spoken to them in almost a year. And I thought it was very appropriate for me to contact them because, look, that's protocol. That's what you do when you respect another dominant in your community. You go to them and tell them the obtrusive behavior that their sub is doing because, I don't know, maybe I would assume that sub had permission because I know that sub, but still, I haven't spoken to this submissive in years. The last time this person, Amanda, Sissy Amanda, I think her name was, she called into the show with Mistress Bella once or twice. And, so yeah, but still, you still have to get their fucking permission. Even though you've done it once before, it doesn't mean it's okay. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
So I was just, correcting that, aspect of it too, so, but other than that, people have been telling me on FetLife they really love my new show. They think it's great that I'm expanding the network. I've been posting that I'm looking for other mistresses to join the network. To expand the network, I want to have a kinky empire. So this is what I've been working on for the past couple of months while trying to find myself with my life and a lot of things in my personal life that really aren't good. So I've decided that going back to Mistress is really going to help me focus on becoming a better dominant because I'm a lot stronger. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I will say that. And, yeah. And that's about it. That's all I'm going to say in a nutshell. So now I'm going to be concentrating on me and my doings and growing my network and being the mistress I always was. And I was telling Sir Lorenzo earlier that I'm so excited for Exotica because I'm going with Mistress Black Velvet and her sub and a couple of my regular friends. And actually, my ex-submissive Bella, she may actually try to come with her husband that weekend. So it would be awesome because a lot of people are excited to see me. And because it's going to be a new era of Mistress Candy, because I no longer have an anchor next to me. I am now able to be free and do exactly what I'm supposed to be doing as a mistress and not being controlled by my slave any longer. That fucking era of my life is over and done with. If somebody wants to be in my fucking good graces, they better be submissive and they better fucking mean it. Because the first motherfucker that tops from the bottom, you are out of my realm. And no way in any shape or form I'm going to allow myself to put up with that kind of fucking bullshit ever again. I'm done,
Right. Yeah.
But I am looking for a foot boy, and I'm looking for personal slaves for Exotica who would be willing to offer services to Mistress, like staying or coming visit with me in my hotel room and giving me foot massages all weekend long. I'm looking for someone to prepare food and clean up after Mistress in my hotel room. I'm looking for a domestic serve. Yes. So, and I'm looking for a bunch of things, and believe me, I'm going to get it, because why? It's been long deserved of me. It's been something I have been needing my whole life. And you know what? I'm finally going to get it again, because when I lived in upstate New York and I was married to my ex-husband, he knew what I did, had no problem with it. I had subs and slaves living in the house with us, with him and me and my 2 children. And you know what? They cooked, they cleaned, they did laundry, they fixed the roof, they went to the horse barn, they shoveled shit, they did all kinds of fucking stuff. And let me tell you something, I had the time of my life. I was pampered. I didn't have to do a goddamn fucking thing. And guess what? I'm going back to that. That's what I want. I want somebody to pamper me, help me, for that weekend at least. And who knows, maybe down the road when I get myself together, I can start working on having that on a more permanent level. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I am looking for a footboy for Exotica. But go ahead.
Oh, you're on FetLife? I'm on FetLife too.
Yeah, I'm on FetLife under MistressCandy69. That's what I'm under.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta find you and follow you there too.
Yeah, I'm on FetLife under MistressCandy69. I'm on Twitter at MistressC69, at Whip Appeal Show, and at BDSM Alive Radio. I control 3 accounts. So, I have a lot of social media for the network. I finally, after being on Twitter I joined January of 2012. Or 2011, I think it is, something like that. Been on Twitter about 10 years now. And I finally broke 5,000 followers. But I'll tell you what, I'm not one of these people that goes and follows every Tom, Dick, and Harry under the sun. I follow people that I actually know or have met online, or, people that are just around. I have never, ever... and the reason is that there's a lot of spam bots on Twitter too, and fake accounts and shit like that.
Right.
So, I've been keeping my shit real. So thank you very much for Mistress getting 5,000 followers on Twitter finally. It took me a long time, but I did it. Look, I've been in the lifestyle for 32 years. I'm well known, but I have a very small knit circle. I like to keep my social media, like 1 or 2 of my social media for fans and some for like friends and fans, like mixed. But I try not to mix them together because, I don't know. I just try to keep things simple,
Right.
So anyway, so real quick, Randy, because I don't want to be doing the show all night. I've been doing the show for like an hour and a half already. My goodness. I had Sir Lorenzo call in, and then you called in. So, are you going to call into my show next Friday also?
Yes. Matter of fact, I'll put that on my calendar.
Oh, good. I like when you call in. We could talk about all different types of stuff. We could talk about the time that I did that racial humiliation with the other network. That was hilarious. Do you remember that? You were part of that.
Yeah.
It was you and the other 2 black guys.
Right.
But we're not going to talk about that tonight anyway.
Right.
But, all right. Well, I thank you for calling in, Randy, and I hope that you call in and you become a regular caller on my show. And maybe you'll even call Mistress Black Velvet. Although I have to say, I'm not sure if Mistress Black Velvet will be doing a show this weekend. I think she's going to be going on vacation for the next couple of weeks. So I had asked her to try to record a couple of shows for me and then send them to me so I can publish them. But if she doesn't, it's okay. I can always just pop one of my old shows on her page just to keep stuff a little busy. You know what I mean? And whatnot. So
Right.
But I hope you become a regular caller. And actually, I'm supposed to have some new women joining the show soon. Hopefully, Bella the Switch will be making a podcast on my network. So I'm kind of hoping. I'm growing a little bit. I'm getting very excited, I have to say.
Right.
I
hope you get. I really hope you get a lot of you probably be the kinkiest network that I can ever heard or think of or something.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping to go, because not a lot of people have. There's no networks for like fetish and kink. Very like nobody really does it.
Right.
Why not?
So you're probably like one of the first.
Exactly. Yep.
So a pioneer, you know?
I'm Mistress Candy, the pioneer of BDSM Alive Radio Network. The biggest kinky network on the internet. I like to call it the BDSM Fetish and Kinky Network on the internet. The hottest on the network. On the internet radio, you know? So
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be that way with you. You have lots of fans, lots of hosts.
Yep.
And I hope the two that I mentioned, I gave it to you on your DMs. Hope they can join your show too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep. So, but anyway, Randy, I'm going to go hang up now. I'm going to say goodnight, and I'm going to say goodnight on the show. And I hope you download the shows. But thank you for calling, and it was really great to hear from you. And everybody, this was Randy. He's been a longtime fan of mine for the past 8 years. He's always called into every radio show that I've ever done, and I always spank him in person when I see him. So I guess it's a good even exchange. So,
yeah.
But are you going to Exotica this year, Randy?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
You should. I'm going to be there. You should go.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking about planning on going this year. I haven't been 3 years.
Well, you should be going. I think that you're time to go, because me and Rita are going to be there. So.
Yeah, hopefully I can get off, but I'll figure this out.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Randy. I'll chat with you on Twitter, okay?
Okay, I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thanks, Randy. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that was awesome. I'm glad that I had some people call into the show tonight. And I hope you enjoyed listening to the show. And I'm going to say goodnight for tonight. And I want to thank Blitzkid for allowing me to use She Dominates for the opening of the show. I want to thank Spunk Lube for continuing to be an awesome sponsor for the show. And thank you and have a great night. And good night, everybody. And Mistress is off the air.